Hello, everyone. Hi. I hope everybody is doing well today. Thank you so much for joining the live. Welcome to Jamie Butler Medium channel. I always linger a little bit with YouTube. Sometimes it has this restart mechanism it does, but I see that we're doing good. So great. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Jamie Butler, and this is a channel where we talk about all things. There it goes. It just started again. So, hi, Luminaires. Hello and welcome to Jamie Butler Medium channel. My name is Jamie Butler, and this is a channel where I like to come on and have live discussions with you. So, if you're with me, please put your fingers to the keyboard, let me know. And we talk about all things kind of spiritual, outside of the box, or woo woo, and normalize it. Yes. So welcome, highly sensitive people. Come to the table. Let's talk about our normalcy and help bring it to light. Today, I wanted to talk about techniques to see apparitions. And if you are somebody out there who have seen apparitions, like Sheldon, I'm pointing at you. If you've seen apparitions, maybe you can type that in and let us know how that was. I pull out Sheldon, who is a Luminaire. We got to talking the other day, and we've both had driving apparitions. I'll get into mine, but I won't get into Sheldon's. And we thought about doing a live stream together and just inviting people to come forward and talk about seeing apparitions while you're driving. It's a thing. It's a chapter in a book kind of a thing. Yes, we're live now. YouTube let me go for 26 seconds before it rebooted and reset the timer and then took off. So I don't know what the trick is. I just do double hellos. And if you're watching this and saw 2 hellos, that is why. Hey, Tara. Hello, Nana. Hi, Maura. Hi, Sheldon. So Tara is saying, I have seen several, but they disappeared so quickly because I've become startled. We're definitely going to talk about being startled and how that shifts the interaction that you're having with your apparition. But I do want to talk about using sensory deprivation to see apparitions, how your emotions are really, really powerful. And if you can learn how to set those in place, you're going to have a lot more success, and about staying receptive. So those are 3 things that we're going to get to. But first, what is an apparition? Like, you can see, right? Apparition is something that you see that is basically not in your 3D realm. This would be seeing ghosts, seeing spirit, even though in my book, ghosts and spirit are very, very different. A spirit is an energy that has transitioned into a different dimensional plane. A ghost is an entity that lost its physical body but has stayed very much in this 3-4D plane, this realm. Apparitions can be puffs of smoke, like they don't have to take a humanly shape. It could be seeing your deceased animal. It's not so much about hearing. An apparition is something that you see. So we are going to focus on seeing things today. Oh, Ling saying, love you, Jamie. I'm a fan for so many years. This is the first time in my live chat. Oh my God, I'm so excited that you're here. Please do share if you've had any kind of seeing or apparition. Sarah says, they love to hang out by my bed at night. That's kind of unsettling, but if you love them, then I guess it could feel very warm and fuzzy. If you've been around me, I have talked a lot about my experiences coming back into seeing energy. And throughout college, I would often sleep with a bat or a vacuum cleaner, extension, when you vacuum on the rug, because they're really long. And so when I would have apparitions come into my room, spirit or ghosts, I would swing the thing out so I could tell if they were real or not. And that's how I would manage my sight. My Sherelle says, ooh, that's interesting. I don't think I've had an experience yet, but I'm open to it. Yes. Okay. Keep them coming. I even think, Sheldon, you might have written, but we'll get there. Tara says, I've seen several, but they disappear. Yeah, they disappear so quickly because you get startled. Let's start there. So techniques in seeing an apparition. So if you are wanting to connect, and maybe you're wanting to connect to a loved one, or you are, I don't know, like how a few of us did recently on a trip to Mount Shasta, rented a place in Oroville, California that was highly charged with energy. If you want to stay in a sweetly haunted home, stay in Judge Gray's home in Oroville, California. Just put that out there. Beautifully renovated. Oh my God, gorgeous. Furniture, all the same from like the mid 1800s. When I got into the house, I was like, oh yes, this is why I rented you, because I thought it would be fun. Though I found out some of the guests slept with their lights on all night so they wouldn't have to see apparitions. And I chose a bedroom that had an option of 2, and I was like, I cannot sleep in that. Somebody already lives in that room. I cannot go in there, and I wouldn't. And so I slept in the other room. And a lot of us saw things in this house. So whether you're aiming to see spirit or ghost, these are some things that you can try. I'm going to talk a bit about Psychomantium and the use of a Psychomantium, which is a sensory deprivation room. Have you ever heard of the term Psychomantium? If you haven't, and you're wanting to see apparitions, get excited because it's been tested. So this is a little bit of a tried and true experience here. Psychomantiums used to be used a long time ago, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and they would enter into a dark cave, or in the Egyptians, it was commonly inside of a pyramid or another room that had no windows. And in these contained dark spaces, they would light a candle, and they would often have a large, probably like foot to 2 foot shallow brass bowl, and they would polish it very, very bright. So it was super reflective. And then they would pour a thin layer of oil on top. So it was quite reflective. Have one candle off to the side, and the candle is normally placed in a way where when you are looking into the oil in the brass bowl, that you cannot see the reflection of the flame, because that's going to be disruptive. And since the room is really dark, when you're looking into the reflection, not at you, so you're staring into the bowl where you're not seeing anything being reflected but darkness, it is an act of scrying. So it's taking the act of scrying into a dark space, and then the images begin to appear. So this is the basis of the Psychomantium, and Raymond Moody, who still sends out newsletters. He has an institute over in, I think it's Alabama. You can sign up for that. So put your fingers to the keyboard. If you're hearing something that you like, I encourage you, go research it. Please, like, keep going. We need more awareness. So he took that, and I loved, like, even in ancient Greece, which is backstepping here, the generals and the leaders of war, planners of war, would enter into the caves to see the oracles in the dark room, the Psychomantium, to receive direction about who to attack and when, on what day, how many men, who will win, things of that nature. There's more details about that, but we're talking about apparitions. So Raymond Moody took history and kind of brought it mainstream and developed the Psychomantium into a room that you can set up. So if you have a dark closet, a dark bathroom, these are the 2 rooms I usually go for. That guest bedroom that's never being used, then you can put some tinfoil up on the walls, on the windows, to darken it out and make a very dark room. So he decided, instead of using the brass bowl with oil, that you would use a mirror. And so you put the mirror up on the wall, and you sit beneath the bottom of the mirror. So the mirror is up, like you're at the movie theater. There's no way that I could see my reflection in that mirror because It's reflecting a black wall. Psychomantiums are commonly made out of velvet fabric. Velvet does not reflect light. Nowadays, we don't really use candles, so you can use a 1 lux like chandelier light bulb. Plug it in behind your seat. It's just you in a chair, small light behind you, mirror above you, and you are in a room that is made of velvet and it's very dark. Now, you incorporate your powerful emotions. I gesture over here, not because my emotions are over there, but I'm imagining the door to the Psychomantium is over there. So before you enter, here's how Raymond Moody would set it up. And through Raymond Moody's process, he found out that over 40% of the people that would go through the Psychomantium process would see full-on apparitions of their loved ones. 40% of people, over 40% of people, saw full-on apparitions of their loved ones. And that was beneficial to him because he felt like there was so much unresolved, like love or conversation or connection. So he started hosting these sessions in the Psychomantium. Maitland is tickling my nose. There's no hair on my face, but it just tickles. If you want to learn more about the Psychomantium, I do have video links below, and I have 2 links. One is how to use the Psychomantium, which we're about to talk about, and the other one is how to build your own. So if you want to build your own, go for it, do it. Okay, so before you enter, you're outside. Commonly, you might be with a therapist or a psychotherapist, or you're with a spiritual healer, somebody who can hold space for you. Now, Raymond always talked about the wonderful element of art, that when you're around art, it lifts up your level of peace and internal harmony. It gives you a sense of creativity, of hope. It's giving you color, beautiful landscapes, calm. So he would have a room that had a lot of art, and you would sit in it and you would think about your loved one. This is where one of the elements come in about how powerful emotions are. So when you think about your loved one, he's asking you to emotionally connect to your loved one. Now, the ask is this. You can go through some memories, but we're not really interested in you recalling memories back. We're just interested in you charging up that connection you had with your loved one who transitioned. So you're connecting to the quality of the relationship, and that's going to be an emotional value. Now, I think the emotional power and the connection is way more strong than focused thought. This is just my opinion. I believe that emotions are our endless source of power, and we still don't really know why we have emotions or necessarily how all of our emotions are triggered in our body. So with that being said, you're out here outside the Psychomantium, connecting emotionally. Then when you've done that, commonly you'll have a photograph of your person that you're trying to connect with. Then you come into the Psychomantium. YouTube is doing something. What's happening? It's taking a token. I don't understand. We'll skip it. Okay, you come into the Psychomantium. You sit down. It's a dark room, a little bit of light behind you so you can see your chair barely, and you get comfortable. Commonly, the chair, my nose is tickling so bad. Commonly, the chair is a lounger, like a lazy boy, and you can just like click, click, and you like lay back like this, and you're looking up at the mirror. And you're taught to leave your eyes open, to soften your gaze, and to pull in those emotions of that connection to that relationship. But leave your eyes open. You leave your eyes open. You can look all around the room. It's not about staring at one spot, but it's definitely not about closing your eyes. It's not time to go into meditation. So you're kind of looking around the room, but the focus is this mirror. You can't really see the mirror. There's nothing really reflecting off of it. Everything just looks dark, black. And then soon enough, so I'll only share my experiences because that's what I've done in my life, and I know that they're accurate because they're mine. But I I had the pleasure of working with Raymond Moody on several occasions. I helped build one of the first Psychomantiums in Florida. That was in Gainesville, Florida, with my teacher, Marguerite Romas. And we built a large one that could fit easily like 10 people in chairs. We could probably squeeze 10 to 15 people sitting down. Large group. It was big. Usually Psychomantiums are small, like 6 foot by 4 foot. This one was like 8 by 10. Okay, so I'm in there and I'm thinking, there's nothing on me and it just tickles so bad. Spirit signs crack me up sometimes. So I'm in there by myself and it's a lot of space. And I'm like, I see spirit already. This is fine. Like, bring it on. First of all, don't taunt. That would have been the note I would have given myself when I was younger. Don't taunt. So I'm in there. I think about my loved one outside. I come in, I get into a meditative state. I keep my eyes open. And all of a sudden, I say all of a sudden, probably 6 minutes into it. 6 minutes in the dark with your eyes open feels like an hour, but it's not an hour, just a few minutes. And then all of a sudden, these colors started to appear. In the darkness, these bright blue colors appeared. And they weren't tracking with my eyes, so I knew it wasn't the mirroring effect, meaning I had kept my eyes open so long that the little bit of light that was inside the Psychomantium was burning images on the backside of my eye, overstimulating the rods and cones in my eyes. When your rods and cones are overstimulated, no matter where you look, the image floats with you. It moves. It tracks with you. In the Psychomantium, these colors appeared. I look away. It doesn't go with me. I look back and it's still there. And I was like, oh, it's okay. First of all, I don't enjoy really being in the dark and seeing apparitions, but this is what sensory deprivation is. That Psychomantium is removing that element of horizon line and depth. So my eyes can't figure out where exactly is horizon. How far away is that? Because the blackness just tends to go on forever. It's just sans light. So my eyes are overworking. They're not needing to blink as much. I can't really focus on anything because I can't find an object. That's key. Sensory deprivation is key in this, that when an apparition appears, your eyes are like, oh, I'm focusing on that because that's something I can see. It's something I'm looking at, and you go for it. Did you see something fly by and go up? That was weird. Okay, let's get back to it. It was really tiny, like an orb. Anyways. Okay. When you can see something in the darkness, your eyes then can begin to focus. Your ciliary muscles aren't spasming out, trying to figure out how to adjust the lens to see something. All of a sudden it sees something, so your ciliary muscles can go, oh, focus in on that. And they kind of tighten up and you focus in on it and it sharpens up. And so all of a sudden this blue light was a man. It was a man standing there. So I'm sitting in the chair and I'm like, don't move, don't move, don't move. You know, guys, I'm 51 and I still act like this when I see an apparition. It's like, I'll share the last one I had. It's crazy. I'll talk about the differences in a second too. So full-on apparition, I say hi, and I have a conversation. I have a conversation with the man. The voice was in my head. It was very different than my psychic skills, which is what I wanted to just talk about, is when I do readings or when I see spirit, now I see them in the room, but to me, it's like they're another person in the room. So I really don't think of that as apparition. An apparition for me is kind of outside spirit. This is more of a, I see them conjure up in front of me. They have more of a ghostly, etherical feeling. But even me as a medium, or you, when you're seeing your spirit guides, angels, loved ones, that is still called an apparition. So full on. So I leave and I'm like, does somebody want to go in there with me? So we get a group of people together. And as the group of people, we come in and we all start to see the same thing multiple times, same item. So for me, in a scientific realm, that is checking some boxes for me. It lets me know it's not my projection of something if somebody else can also describe it. And you can jointly describe it. Like if you're in a psychomantium or you're in a position where you are seeing an apparition, you would then say to the person next to you, are you seeing something? They say yes. You go, hold on. Let me describe, the face, and then you describe the body, or give different areas for you to describe, because that way you can check each other instead of both building on, oh, his nose is big. Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. So is it me too, or am I influencing what you're seeing? So pick areas to describe the apparition, identify them, share yours, and then have the other person share theirs. And then you can sit back and you have a stronger way to compare each other's visions or notes. Okay, so a group of people all seeing the same thing. I went into one time the Psychomanteum and I sat down, and I had one here in Atlanta at my old office before it was closed down. And I would get in there and I started my meditation and I wanted to see my guides, I want to see my spirit team, connect with them. And I felt like my chair was moving, and it was moving down a road, and it was moving fast. And not only did I feel like I was moving, my hair, my hair was moving back. Like I could feel the breeze, like and I remember holding on to the chair because I felt like if I fell out of the chair, I was going to hit the road. So I'm sitting in a dark room, holding onto a chair that's moving at high speed down a road. And then spirit started coming in and talking to me. And I was like, you guys, like, I'm getting car sick. You can't do this to me. So they stopped the movement. I remember getting out of the Psychomantium and feeling like I had gone somewhere. I was like, is this a portal of time? I don't know. It was so wild, and it was so very visceral. And I really enjoyed allowing other people to come sit in the Psychomantium, taking students through it. It's absolutely wonderful. So if you're looking to experience an apparition, at least there's a 40% chance success rate with a Psychomantium, a darkened room with a small light behind you and a reflective surface above you, making sure that the reflective surface doesn't reflect anything else. Can't see the light and you can't see your face. You calm down. My last apparition was in Mount Shasta. A few of you have heard this story already. What's on my shirt? Shasta. Oh, it's Weed, California, which is right next to Shasta. We thought this was very funny, so we went there and bought t-shirts. It's the name of a town. So a group of us were in McCloud Park, and we had just taken a lovely hike to see some waterfalls. And we were leaving the park. And as we were leaving the park, my husband's driving. We're in a minivan. I'm in the passenger seat. Colleen is in the back seat, and Danielle Hall is sitting behind me. So there's 4 of us. And we're just moseying, probably doing 30 miles per hour. You're in a park. There's a forest. You're in a forest, but it's a forest you see through quite easily. You can tell the road turns. It's all asphalted, but there's a lot of camping sites and RV sites. So there was people coming in and out. But we're the only car on the road, and we're coming up to a crossroad. And when we come up into the crossroad, there's no stop sign, and I think we're on the main street. But I look to my right, and there is a very tall, what I would call a van with no windows, a very tall van with 2 people on the roof of the van, like moving very quickly down the road and aiming towards us. And I'm like, oh my God, like they better slow down. They're going to hit us. I look back again. They're not slowing down. They're still moving. Now I notice that there's people beside the van waving their arms like, up in the air. And there's some panic. So I'm panicked, because now we're about to collide. We're going to come. We don't have a stop sign. I tell my husband, you need to slow down. I was like, you've got to stop. Like, stop, you're going to hit them. I'm yelling. I think I'm yelling. I feel like I would be yelling. And they're coming. I close my eyes. I'm bracing. We're going to have a T-bone incident. I know we're going to get hurt. It's just what's going to happen. I've already notified my husband to slow down. He does not slow down. I don't understand why. I'm so confused. And he kind of slows down. And I closed my eyes and I was like, don't hit them. And he kind of pulls off a little bit. He goes, why would I stop? There's no stop sign. I go, don't you see them? Like they're coming at us. And he puts his arm, like his hand on my arm. And he's like, baby, no, nobody's there. It's all okay. And I was like, no. I was like, you can't tell me you didn't see them. I was like, it's a big black van and two people sitting on top. And we're going to collide. I was like, well, just why wouldn't you stop? I'm like yelling at him. I'm frantic. I start to cry because my adrenals are shot and I'm scared. And the more I think about it, and he's rubbing me, he's like, nobody's there. And it's like trying to register. What do you mean nothing's there? Like, what? I'm looking around. There's nothing. It's just beautiful trees. You can see through them. Nothing. Colleen, I think from the back was like, like, it's okay. My husband's like, just let it go, drop it. I was like, you don't just let it go and drop it when you about have an accident like that. And I'm slowly thinking about it. Like, why would two people be on the roof of a van? It must be a stagecoach. And Colleen asked, did you see any horses? I was like, no, I didn't see any horses. And I was like, and the people running next to them, like yelling, like something must have been wrong. I was like, oh my God, like it's not real. So my husband starts to drive off and he's acting like nothing happened because nothing happened for them. So apparitions can show up at the most inconvenient places. You don't necessarily need to be in a sensory deprivation room, but apparitions for the viewer will be very real and there will be a reactive measure or action. It was a stagecoach. Oddly enough, we stopped at a grocery store in Northern California, and right at the checkout, there was a history book on Northern California stagecoaches. And I was like, come on, who does this? I flick it up and I was like, if I'm meant to see it, I'll see it. And I flip through it. And towards the end, they had these tall black stagecoaches that they would put the lumber in, and they didn't have any windows or anything. There's no doors. It was like a pickup truck in the good old days. And McLeod, the area apparently was very hard to lumber because of its uneven terrain. And there was often several accidents and things of this that would happen. So there we had it. It was a stagecoach with lumber that was running loose. And I just happened to see it play out again. And then later at the haunted house in Oroville, I made a joke to Daniel Hall and to Colleen. I was like, hey, do you think all those spirits, the stagecoach, were like, look at that van. There's 4 people in there. Do you think we can get one of them to cry? Like they were earning points to like scare the humans? Because I just wanted to rationalize or make it funny or make it purposeful because it scared the living effing pants off of me. And it took me a long time to like come off of that. Right? Sonny's like, please, spirit, don't give Jamie a scare and a panic and attack, especially driving down the road. It's scary. I'm so grateful I was not driving, but I know if I was driving, I would have hit the brakes. I would have stopped to allow this thing to go by, and I would have scared everybody in the car. The only other full-on apparition while I was driving was about 25, more than that. I was in my early 20s. And I was driving my car at night, and this woman had crossed the road. I could see her, my headlights shined on her in the middle of the road. And she was walking in front of my car. And there was no time for me to stop or slam on brakes. So I had to swerve around her. And then it was just like oh, what the F kind of a moment, and you turn your car around to look. What happened? Is everybody okay? No, nobody's there. It's a forested road on either side, which we had a lot of those kinds of roads in Florida. No homes, no nothing. And that's what it was. And I just chalked it up to that's something that just happened then and drove off. Luckily, I did not drive off the road. I did not hurt myself. Sheldon says, I have two hypotheses on these situations. I wonder if it was an actual accident that here we go. Sheldon had it where he had to brace for impact, close his eyes for a second, and then nothing happens. I'm like, what the heck? I thought I was going to die because they were on the wrong side of the road. I'm looking to see if you posted earlier. I just watched an episode of Expedition X, and they were in Savannah, Georgia. That looks like the place to go to see apparitions. It is. It is. Sheldon's saying, mine was a woman in the middle of the road, pitch black, out wearing a white gown. Shut up. Out wearing a white gown. Looked like she was floating, and I was like 30 degrees. It was like 30 degrees Fahrenheit. I even stopped and it looked into my window. Oh my God, you had so much more engagement. That just gave me goosebumps. She looked into your window. Then I watched it go away, and it was around a bridge. So not sure if she died around the bridge or not. Then Sheldon goes on to say, I'm scrolling. I've had it where I've had to brace for impact and close my eyes for a second, and then nothing happens. That I'm like, what the heck? They were on the wrong side of the road. So Sheldon has a hypothesis on the situations. I wonder if it was the actual accident and then it was brought back like nothing happened, or was it an apparition and nothing happened? I'm going to vote. If we had an option to take votes or polls right now, I'm going to vote that the incident happened and that it's replaying itself. And that for some reason, the tear in the time-space continuum, or whatever you want to call it, we're a part of it, or we see it playing out. Sunny, that's a really good statement you're making, which is, doesn't spirit know how to keep you safe from being scared, especially if you're helping people? Like, wow. So spirit and apparitions are normally your ghost-like earthly spirits that are tethered, to earth. And they're not exactly out there to help you. Most of the time they're looking for attention, or they're looking how to help themselves. Spirits tend to show up, and your apparition will be a very loving and caring one, where you feel supported, heard, seen, where they give a message of love and gratitude and thanks, things of that nature. When we're dealing with ghosts and the apparitions of ghosts, it's commonly from a traumatic incident, a death, a suicide, a tragic incident, accident, things of that nature. And it comes back to life and replays itself, and there you are watching it. So your spirit team is not going to jump in and go like, hey, Jamie, by the way, that really didn't, happen right now, and you don't have to be scared. It's happening so fast, you can't slow down. It's just like being in a car wreck. You don't really slow down and go, is this for real? Let me do my seatbelt. Let me get ready for this. It just occurs. Yes. So when we look at techniques for seeing apparitions, your sensory deprivation is going to be key. If you are seeking this out for spirit, for ghosts, for anything, sensory deprivation, check out the links below if you want to learn more and really go down the rabbit hole with it, because I would love that for you. Then you want to be able to focus your emotions. Emotions are very powerful. As I was saying before, I think they are more powerful than focused thought. I think they have more energy, more condensed, compact energy to be able to connect, conjure, or bring forward. This is why our lovely teenagers going through their burst of hormones into adulthood can actually conjure up a lot of spirit activity. Maybe that's talk for another day, but that's very interesting too. But if you can focus your emotions onto the entity that you wish to communicate to, your connection is going to be stronger, and it's most likely going to happen. Then, if you can stay receptive, and this is the point we were talking about earlier, I think Tara was saying, I just get startled. It just startles me. Yes, and often when we get startled, like when I close my eyes and I scream and I brace for impact, it's all over. It's gone. When I swerve and miss the lady, it's gone. When I had a Halloween party here in Atlanta next to a Civil War, like ravine area that's in the middle of a really nice neighborhood now. And all I could see was like, oh, look at those groups of men. How cool. They all dress like Civil War heroes. I don't know why I said heroes, but like fighters. What do you call them? Soldiers. And there's like, that's cool. Those friends are really close knit. And then they disappear. And you're like, oh God. Okay, you're just seeing something else happening in the same area where you are, but most likely these Civil War soldiers are not celebrating Halloween. They are not seeing the houses that are all built in the mountains and the hills that they fought in. They are living again and again and again their situation. Tiffany just threw up a little, yes, puberty. My teenage years, I experienced so many ghosts and it didn't help. I was surrounded by cemetery. Oh my God, surrounded by cemeteries in high school, not fun. No, not fun. Nana Rosebud, does a picture make communication stronger somehow? It does. The only reason the photograph makes it stronger is that it gives you something as a human to focus on. We're not so good as humans focusing on nothing or focusing on mystery or air. But if we've got this, and we can hold it in our hand and we can see them, and then we can connect to them emotionally, not from how they were in the past, who they are currently. Like I teach a series called Building New Relationship with Loved Ones. It's excellent. If you want to communicate, it's not so much about getting apparitions of your loved ones, but if you want to communicate to your loved ones, like this 10-week series is about that. And we linger a lot in having photographs. But when you look at the photograph, it's not about reliving what that photograph was when you were together, but it's more about being able to emotionally connect to the person and let the memory dissolve. Because what you're looking for is who are they now, not who were they when. Because if you get stuck with the who are they when, then you might just be projecting past in front of you and not really authentically connecting to your loved one in spirit. Sheldon is going back to it. I'm going to keep reading Sheldon's comments. The woman I saw was actually about 200 yards from an old county home where they kept people that weren't sound of mind. I've never taken that way since at night. And he politely or giggly says, LOL. I'd be like, ever, no, laughing, not doing it again. But I'm glad you have a light sense, like humor to it. Oh my God. Okay, how do you stay receptive in those moments? Being receptive means not being startled, being called out of your moment, not being shocked, scared, not being surprised, even being surprised, even if you're joyfully surprised, like, oh my God, it's my cat. Look, it's my cat who passed away 3 years ago. It's over, it's gone. So we're looking at getting into an apparition and having like some more time with the apparition, not the ones that are harming you. Those are the stories that we're telling right now, but I'm looking at how do we get into seeing an apparition that we are wanting to have, like setting it up, aiming for it, and staying in conversation and in control. Those are the kinds of communications that I really like. Don't know about you. If you like different stuff, you can let me know. I'll read it. But yeah. Oh my God, soldiers not in costumes. Yike. Yes. A D. It gives you the wow effect. Yeah, that wow effect. Okay. I want you to be able to have the wow effect or the, oh my God, this is happening. I am seeing this. So you're basing your experience in your reality. You're not throwing it out to, I must be imagining this, or I must be sick, or it must be the light. I don't want you to go into a scientific explanation of why you might. We're aiming to lengthen it. So when you get the wow and you anchor into this is what's happening for me right now, I want you to do a few things. It's all about staying neutral. When you're neutral, you stay open. When you get triggered, you fall into two currencies of energy, either one or the other. So when you get triggered with something, you either go into the right side current energy, which is called positive current energy. Doesn't necessarily mean good, so don't do that. Positive current energy is like sun. It's constant. This is the control. I've got to be in control. I might be harmed. I might be this is, and you go to control it. Or you get triggered into the, like, oh my God, I got to fix something. Do you need something? Is everything okay? Like I just real passive and kind of givey and a little dodgy, changing the elements really quick. So we have these two, control or passive and possibly just run because it's terrifying, or close your eyes and scream and cry like I did last time. Tina, let's talk about that. So getting into, I'm going to come back. Tina's question is, how do you know the difference between spirit or apparitions? When you see something, seeing something is going to be an apparition, whether it's a spirit, a ghost, smoke. I used to, in my old office, some days I would come in and about 4 foot across the entire 2,000 square foot place would be a fog, a true to life, San Francisco fog, 4 feet high, very clear weather above. This is indoors, by the way, very clear above. And then below it was a little misty and then nothing at the floor, but a freaking fog. And I remember the first few times I was like, okay, wait, what? I went scrubbing my eyes, blinking, looking, cleaning my glasses. I'm like, and then it's like, okay, you're back. Hi. I never communicated to the fog. I never communicated to the energy. Other people could see it. It didn't come all the time. There was no rhythm, rhyme, but it was an apparition of energy. So how do you tell the difference if it's spirit or if it's ghost? Spirit, for me, gives me a clearer view of who they are. They have color to them. They're almost technicolored. For me, sharper edges, hair, glasses, jewelry, tattoos, what kind of watch. To me, it's not going to be like with everybody, but to me, when I have an apparition of a person, I see them clearer. It's like they know how to present themselves. It's like they have a healthier connection to how they want to be represented, and they can really show you. When I have an apparition of a ghost, somebody who's crossed over but didn't transition to heaven, to home, to the beyond, and they've stayed. It's like they don't have a clear representation of who they are. They don't know how to represent themselves. So it'll be like when they move, it's kind of fuzzy, and then their face comes into focus, and then it doesn't. Their edges are smoky. Their color is more ghostly. It's more of like a whitish gray fog, not the fog that I saw in my office, but like the shape of a person. Even their sounds and how they communicate is different. It's like they're a little more disassociated and sometimes a little bit more tortured. The ones who have transitioned and have a better relationship with their selves and their energy present themselves clearer. That's for me how I separate it. Now, in my experiences, spirit, even if they're needing something from me, they have a sense of respect, kindness, love, even if they're asking me to do something for them. It is respect and love. A ghost apparition, not so much. Not a lot of respect. Walk in front of my car while I'm driving 60 miles per hour. Drive into the minivan, with your stagecoach. Not so much respect. So when it's a little bit more fuzzy, and they go in and out, and that could be emotionally for you too, then it would just show a little bit about how they are connected to their energy. I hope it helps. There's just not hard and fast, like yes and no, when it comes to energy and how each of us are going to perceive it, because we're all so different. Dee says, I saw a man at my workplace passing me in the hallway aisle, and I could see the hairs on his arm, and I got out of the way, but nobody was there. Oh my God, isn't that incredible? Oh my God. If you're new and joining us right now, definitely you're going to scroll back on this chat thread. You've got to read people's apparitions and energy stories. Like, they are great. Like Chris Cassidy's talking about a ghost dog in the house walking back and forth in the same place. And we told him he was dead, and he finally stopped pacing and went away. Oh, it's like he was waiting for somebody. Oh my God. Okay, so how do we, when we see these things, kind of like how Chris was just sharing, we saw this and we just calmly spoke and just said, hey, this and that. Probably because you didn't feel so threatened by the dog, but sometimes you're going to have apparitions that you might feel threatened of, just visually. How do you stay receptive and neutral? So these are some of the things that I would ask for you to do. When you see an apparition and you have that wow, like your heart rate starts and your hair starts to stand up, I want you to identify that this is part of your reality. You are not crazy. You are not weird. This is not insane. Your eyeglasses aren't fogged up. Don't care about if anybody else is seeing it. You could, if you have a friend next to you, go, do you see that? But don't make a big deal out of it, because as soon as you make a big deal out of it, guess what happens? It kind of goes away. It goes away. And it can happen so fast. And if you try to control the situation, if you get triggered into this positive current energy that's going to control, the situation will go away. And you'll never know why it was there or what happened. It'll just be a story where you're like, I saw something and it went away. Instead of, I saw something, I took a deep breath and I said, hi. That's a very dramatic line, isn't it? But I want you to say hi. I learned this from Maitland. Maitland comes in with a lot of stories with me, and she's like, I come and see people and they freak out and they get excited, and then like it's over. And they didn't even say hi to me. And sometimes when they see me, they don't say hi, but they go, do you have a message for me? And it's like she's meant to perform right away, when it was like the excitement of finally being on the same plane with each other. So apparition, reality check, say hi. Hi is not going to give them permission to attack you. I'm just going to talk about the weird stuff first, okay? I mean, we have to have places to talk about the weird stuff. Hi is not going to say, I give you full permission to merge with my energy. I mean, when you say hi to a stranger on the street, are you giving them your phone number, your social security, your wallet with your ID and everything in it? No, you're not. Not at all. You're acknowledging them. The hi is an acknowledgement. Hi. Now, sometimes I've been to places where I've come, let's not go there. Oh, that was so mean for me to start something and not finish it. I don't think this is a place for this story, so we'll shelve it. But I want you to know that even if it's a spirit, ghost, animal companion that's passed over, your hello is I acknowledge you. I'm here and I see you. Hi. That's what hi means. So if you can get behind that and you can get the hi out in a very calm way, not oh my God, hi. It's not that. That's too much. Just stranger on the other side of the street. Hi. And so it might give you might need a few rounds of practice. I definitely have needed a few rounds of practice. I will tell you that, because when it's real and it's big, and it's just like, what do I do? It's a new muscle, but I want your new muscle reaction to say hi. So even when you're very emotional, heart rate, nervous, fearful, you're going to collect all of that, because all of that is happening because you're having a new experience and you're using new muscles, and you're going to say, hi, Under the hello, I need you to develop a belief system that no matter what you're saying hi to, that you have ultimate control over yourself and the situation. Cheese? You got it? You got that part? You have ultimate control over the situation and yourself. They do not. You do over yourself. They do not. Cool? Okay. Even if you are scared and you feel like you might be in a position of danger, you have control over your own energy. They do not. Okay. And then once you get that high out, commonly after this, it's follow the lead. What is this apparition there for? If nothing is happening and you're having a stare down, and you could simply say, what do you want me to know? How's that? It's very open-ended. It's very like cash, very neutral. Hey, we're here. I'm seeing you. Hi. Nothing happens. You're following their lead. Nothing happens. What do you want me to know? What is it? Not, do you have a message for me? Or can you perform this? Or what's your name? Where did you come from? Why are you here? Did you die here? Are you okay? Do you need something? Don't. If they're there, it might be because they want you to know something. So just open it up. What do you want me to know? And then from there, do your best to stay in the conversation. Now, the story I was going to get into was a little bit of what if this apparition is of a ghostly nature that maybe is not there for the best of reasons. And so at any time you feel like you are having experience with an apparition that honestly you do not feel safe, and it's not because you're in a mystery, it's not because it's a new experience and a new muscle, but you're having an experience with an entity, spirit, full-on apparition, and you do not feel safe. Everything inside of you is an alarm going, you need to get the hell out of here. So when that happens, I want you to listen to it. I don't want you to bottle it up and go, hi, what do you need me to know? What would you like me to know? I'd like for you to say, I see you. It's a more of a conjuring of strength. I don't want you to turn and run because you do have control over yourself and over your own energy. Okay. So I want you to say, I see you. So it's a stance. And then just know whatever they're about to show you or do, you're safe and you're okay. If you can get your heart rate under control, that would be great. Do some breathing. If you need to close your eyes to make the apparition disappear from your eyeballs, that's fine too. If you need to think about Skittles and rainbows and unicorns and roller skates or horses, puppies, whatever makes you like calm and get into your body, go for it. Switch your line of thinking. But after you say, I see you, if you now feel like there's a balance of energy and you're not as like tore up or scared, if you have a religious system, a religious belief system that you enjoy and that you really stand behind, if there's a prayer, you can say your prayer. If you have a spiritual intent, or if you call on a certain entity for strength, be it God source, goddess source, Gaia, multidimensional, whatever it is, you can call on them as well so that you don't feel like you're standing there by yourself. Call your team forward. You can ask for that element of protection, things of that nature. Commonly by this point, the apparition will be done. It'll be gone. Few seconds. But if it lingers longer than that, and now you are confronted with this, which was a story that I was going to bring up, I think we need to have another live stream with a story like that. That is more of a unique situation. And that requires a little bit more skills, especially in a therapeutic or, psychology kind of approach. But if you're having those kind of moments or you like to talk about it, maybe throw up some topics and we can get to those topics on some of these live streams. And I want to acknowledge that thank you so much for sharing with me that you would like for me to do videos where I post and I'm not in a live stream. It is something I love, is chatting with you and watching your stories roll up on the screen, because there's a sense of like love and community that I really enjoy. And when I'm making videos off on my own and editing them and posting it, I don't necessarily get to feel that sense of camaraderie and understand that you too have gone through these things or answer some of the questions that you might have about the content. So with that being said, we're going to continue with these Friday lives, and maybe I'll put out a few little content, short videos, just informational, because I really like this whole conversation going on. And Tiffany V, thank you so much for that energy, for that financial love and energy. I really appreciate that. Overall, we talked about apparitions, how to see them. How to see them would definitely be looking at sensory deprivation techniques. You can check out Psychomantium. You can check out the links below. Getting in tune with your emotions. Your emotions are really, really powerful. And if you're trying to conjure up a visual expression of your loved one, I say conjured like we're, I don't know, in some ritual thing, but as an asking, come forward, I'm ready to see you. Get your emotions straight. If you're fearful about seeing them, they're not going to show up. It's just not going to happen. If you're scared about seeing them again, it's not going to happen. But if you have this deep love and this connection with them, they'll show up and you will see them with the eyeballs, especially in the Psychomantium. And then thirdly, stay receptive. Be neutral. Get your hi down. Practice it in the mirror, guys. Hi. Next time I see spirit or ghosts or any kind of apparitions, I'm going to say, that's right, kids. Hi. Just kidding you, but that is it. And that's kind of the beginning of a conversation. I love that you let me play with you. Oh, gosh. Carol sharing, my dad has been with me using physical phenomena for over 10 years. And once he told me to take the only deliberate orb photo I ever tried in my bedroom. And there was an orb. Oh my gosh. It was right above the lamp. Huge. That is awesome. I love this. Yes, we had a glorious orb photo, but it's not an orb. It looks like a bird cage with a clear base. It's posted up on our social media. I took it of Colleen and Danielle Hall at Moss Falls in near Mount Shasta. And it so looks like a portal. There's like perfect archways, doorways, and triangles inside of it. It is like I've never seen any of this before, ever. Check it out. It is absolutely beautiful. And it really looks like Colleen is standing there looking at it like, all right, like we're going to go. Spirit says it's a portal. Tiffany agrees. It's totally a portal. It was pretty wild. Thank you so much for hanging with me for the lives. We went a little bit longer. Normally they're a little bit shorter, but I certainly appreciate your time, your ears, your eyes, and your attention. If there are topics that you would like for us to talk about on these lives, please post them. We like to see them. And remember, this is not woo-woo. It's true. And we're all having these experiences. Let's just find safe places to talk about them, and let's normalize this. Take care, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Hi, Iha. How are you? Take care, Tara. Bye, Carol. Bye, Sunny.